click the live button now, and I have now clicked the live button. So we should be going live. I still, because last time I did this, something happened where basically the last few seconds that were before I clicked the button also went live, and that was kind of scary. I've never actually checked if that is what happens. But yes, hello, welcome to Fast Food Thursday. Mm,
Hello.
I'm here with MDef and no one else because people just they just don't show up no more.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I don't know if you want to tweet something out
I
or
actually this is I never tweet out that I'm doing this except today. I
I don't
tweeted
know if you
it.
want I don't know if you want to come off as desperate.
Yeah, 20 minutes ago. I fucking tweeted this. It's like the one thing when no one shows up.
It's just
I mean,
uh
it's just the talking about shit podcast. Yeah, you had a funny story to tell though. You just gonna
yeah,
let you
yeah.
open
So
up with this.
so like at my boss's shop, he's kind of he has a lot of business things he does like he has like the trucking company, which he leases out to a larger trucking company, which is what I'm a part of. He also does truck storage for owner operators, just, truck storage.
Yeah.
And then he also will let, you know, quote, if you know what you're doing, you can use his shop to work on your truck. And this is where the funny story comes in because there's a guy there. He owns his own truck, and this guy's really interesting because he's the same age as me, but he just spec'd all his points into mechanics and
Uh huh.
just into cars and trucks because he's the same age as me and he owns his own truck and he has like I've seen him in several cars. He's got several really nice cars. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, that's where he spends all his money. I spend all my money on video games and and he does it with cars and trucks.
So, and
Uh,
frankly, you're the normal person in this whole thing. I have to make sure to say that.
I guess. I mean, but so anyway, and he's like super proud of his truck. He's always working on it. It's like a big black Kenworth. Think of a truck in your mind, all black with chrome, really nice looking truck.
Yeah, let me
Well,
Google big black. You know what? This I'll just
yeah,
auto complete it because I can't remember
yeah.
the brand. Uh,
So
whoa, this
like,
is not what I was. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I have. I'm gonna post a picture of this because this actually looks kind of cool. This
yeah,
is
yeah,
like the classic. I'm an American trucker type
yeah, yeah.
truck.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's sort of like that. It sits a little. That one's lowered. His sits at a little higher.
Uh huh.
But anyway, so like, okay, it's actually good you posted this picture. So, I think something happened to his truck, to the front of his truck, where that front axle, where the front wheels are, the axle. He's like, okay, I gotta replace this front axle. There's something up with it. So I'm gonna take the whole axle off and replace it with a brand new one, put new brakes and everything on. And he's gonna do it at my boss's shop. And it's like, okay, cool. So he gets a spot and he starts to work on it. And he jacks to the truck up using very large jack winches, which you don't need to know. They lift the truck up.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
they have them for cars as well. And for safety's sake, what you're supposed to do is you do not go underneath the vehicle with just those winches. You
Yeah.
have to actually put like a hard stand because those winches are hydraulically powered and the hydraulics could fail and boom, it crushes you, all that. So what he does is now if you look at this truck, you notice the front axle is set back a bit because where the heaviest part of the truck is. That's where
Yeah,
the
I
engine is.
absolutely am. I'm absolutely noticing that because I know so much about trucks.
Well, I'm just
Yeah,
so yeah, but what he ended up doing was he ended up putting the jacks the stands on the very front of the truck on the like right underneath the bumper.
yeah.
He put the jacks he put the stands right there. And we thought he was just doing that like temporarily so he could like get the winches out from underneath it and then put proper like trucks. Oh yeah, these stands he put underneath there were meant for cars. So they were only rated
Ooh.
they were only rated to like 4 tons each, which technically would be isn't is strong enough to hold up the front end of a truck. But again, they're not meant for they're not meant for trucks.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do it.
Yeah, and my boss was like looking at it, is like, is he gonna put bigger, isn't he gonna put bigger jacks in? Because it's like my boss has like truck, jack stands that are rated for 8 tons.
Yeah.
But no, and he just goes and he gets underneath the truck and he starts working on the truck. Um, he starts taking apart the brakes and loosening up the steering mechanism and all this stuff. And my boss goes and the other thing is that I mentioned the position of the steer axle. It's positioned there to hold up, hold. It's sort of like like a bridge because the way the frame is on these trucks is just 2 rails and everything's mounted on. Like there's like the God, I'm really butchering this description. So it's like the frame is just of 2 long pieces of steel
Yeah.
from the back of the truck to the front of the truck, and
Yeah.
everything's mounted on these two steel rails.
That's like a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well, the frame is these steel rails. They're pretty well built. They're very durable. Um, but the problem is that he's got the jack stands on the very front of the truck on the very end of the rail, which means that without the steering, without it resting where it's supposed to be, on the steering axle, it's putting a lot of stress on the frame where it's not supposed to be putting stress on the frame.
Yeah.
And so my boss is noticing this and it's coming towards the end of the day and the guy's like cleaning up to head out for the day. And my boss is like, no, you're not going to leave this like this. If you leave it like this overnight, that frame's going to crack and it's just going to buckle and just come down. It's like, no, you're not going to do that. And
Yeah.
he made him like, he's like, here's some 8-ton truck stands, put it underneath the engine like you're supposed to, and then you can leave. So nothing spectacular happened. It was just like something bad could have happened. Crisis averted, basically.
This is something that happens though, I feel like to a lot of people who get really good at doing very dangerous shit. They
Oh
just
yeah,
I mean, either they die or they have the luck stat is so good for them that they can just get away with doing shit like this. Like
yeah,
that's the two kind of people. Or they take all the safety precautions. That's how they survived.
yeah.
Um,
And another thing is like like most likely if he would have left it like that, like the truck wouldn't immediately just collapse overnight.
yeah,
But what would happen is that cracks would start to form in the frame,
yeah,
and when that happens, the truck is ruined. The truck is totaled because cracks in the frame are a huge safety risk. It's sort of like having crack. It's a lot like a bridge.
yeah,
Having cracks in a bridge is very dangerous. It's the same with a truck. Having cracks in the frame is very dangerous, and it's like if they form, the truck is totaled. The truck is ruined. You can't resell it. Nobody's going to want to drive it. You can't really repair it. You just send it to the junkyard. Yeah.
In which case, it will be basically guaranteed a spot in whatever post-apocalyptic scenario we end up in. So
Oh yeah,
it's really,
yeah.
it's it's not exactly a lose-lose situation. Also, in case anybody gives a shit, which I'm sure nobody does, the beer I'm drinking, because I basically have to do this every time, is Bayreuther Hell. I was given this beer by Joy, by which I mean I just sort of took it out of her fridge because I'm
Oh,
taking care of her cat while she is out of town, and
Hey, Murder.
it doesn't taste like a lot, but it's a very drinkable beer. It's not very obtrusive. It's just you can drink it and you can drink it, and it's nice. And the funny thing about Bayreuth, which is the city where this beer comes from, is that there is an opera house there where they do the Bayreuther Festspiele each year. Basically, probably one of the most important opera houses in certainly Germany, probably Europe. And if you want to get tickets there, there's a waiting list that is 10 years long.
oh
For
wow.
So,
Wait, what is 10 years long?
the waiting list for getting tickets to the Bayreuther Festspiele at the Bayreuth Opera House in Germany.
It's 10
Huh.
years for this. Wait, what is this? Like an opera event, an orchestral
Yeah, yeah,
event?
it's like an opera event. I'm not sure. I think they do basically Wagner every year, but I'm not sure. I might be mixing something up there. But it's basically
Well,
like the Wagner Opera House, and my my music teacher back in high school went there, and he also had to wait like 10 years to get a spot.
Oof.
What is I can't. Well, actually, I was gonna say I can't play this on YouTube. It might be copyrighted. Well, I own the fucking copyright in it.
What is Marxism?
yeah, you
really?
kind of do. You can just do whatever the
Get
fuck
a
you
range
want.
of different answers, ranging from the
Oh yeah, really quick. I found
species
pictures of
in
this
every
stands.
conceivable regard, or
These were the stands he was using.
problem
These
that
are
could appear
these are
in the
perfect for like
physical
cars and
reality
trucks.
that we occupy.
And
I would
this
argue
is
it's
this is what my boss made
Sorry,
made him
this
put.
is the dumbest shit anyone's ever made, and I love it.
What are you looking at?
Just
Oh, we look. Studio?
yeah, does seem like a bit of a difference in like the size of the struts.
Yeah,
What-
yeah.
what
The
are we-
ones on the ones on the bottom are definitely more stouter, stronger.
Yeah.
So.
All right, found it.
Damn.
Oh, also, really quick, I want to give a shout out to Nintendo for like the one thing they do really fucking good. So my Switch broke. It works, but also it doesn't work. The screen on it
Bad.
broke. The screen on it broke. But you could
Bro-
you could put it in the dock and it works just fine on TV. But
Yeah.
so
Well, you
I
can play Switch on TV.
yeah
What do you
yeah
think the doc's for?
yeah that's what the dock is for.
What do you mean the dock? Do you have
The
to
thing
consider?
is
I own a game. I own one game console. It's the newest game console I own, and it's a GameCube.
Okay, so with the
Is that
Switch,
the one on your shelf and behind your videos?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like to be fair, I think like all of the other manufacturers of game consoles just did the thing that is like something that like an old person thinks of a game console being. And the Nintendo kind of I was all even as a kid I was very confused with what Nintendo was doing with its game consoles. So
yeah, so with the Switch, it can go. It's a hybrid. It can go portable, or you can dock it and then play it like a regular like console on your TV.
yeah,
So yeah, mine broke where the screen on the Switch itself broke, but it still worked in docked mode. So I sent it. So like I went to Nintendo, did the whole troubleshooting thing, and they're like, okay, you have to send it in to us, and did the whole spiel and sent it off to them, and they warned me in the emails. They're like, okay, so we are quite short staffed, so the turnaround time to get your Switch back is going to be about 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, all right, that's fine. I check, so I check with the site, and it's like, okay, UPS is going to get it to them by Tuesday. Just this Tuesday. Um, so I was like, all right, and then they get it Tuesday night, and then Wednesday morning they send me emails like, okay, we've received your Switch. We'll let you know when we start doing our repairs. An hour later, I get an email. We've started repairing your Switch.
That's pretty good.
And then just after lunch, I got an email. We fixed your Switch. We'll let you know when we get it shipped back out. And then like at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, we shipped your Switch back out. You should be getting it by next week. I'm like, holy
Well,
shit.
shout out to friend of the show Nintendo for doing that.
I thought Nintendo sucked when it came to like, oh no, I'm guessing the Joy-Con drift's bullshit, but like they're actually good at like repairing it.
It's like
Yeah.
Origin. Origin customer service is fucking lit. I
Really?
I noticed something because I'm watching Heinzke play fucking EU4, I think, or whatever the fuck this game is. And you don't have, it's just called the Gulf of Bothnia, right? To the north, it's just the Gulf of Bothnia because okay, here's a funny story about the German language. There is this particular name for this landform, and it's Busen. Busen also just so happens to be the German word for bosom, as in breasts. So
Big boobas.
we call these are the Botnian breasts. The
Hey,
Botnian
Heinz,
bosom. Sea bosom.
zoom out a little bit. I want to see something.
I want to
So,
see
yeah.
the breasts of the Baltic Sea.
All right, and the Baltic is Finland considered Baltic or Nordic or a mixture of both?
I mean, it's
Finland
on
is a
the
Nordic.
Baltic Sea.
Finland is a Nordic country, but it's not a Scandinavian country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, Heinzke, in
Scandinavia.
case you're talking, we can't hear you.
Me? Oh.
No,
Oh.
no, you,
No,
Silver.
Heinz.
We can hear you, Silver.
Yay.
I can't.
Hey, Bird, do me a favor and hold the beer up to your screen again so
Do you
I
mean
can see
the
the logo.
bottle? I mean, you probably can't get it in the United States.
I'm just curious. It's just you told people what you're drinking, but I didn't. You don't. You
Yeah.
don't. Yeah, yeah. I have a question. Can you do one camera that like can you like have a camera go the two feeds, one to like
We tried that, but it
Discord
doesn't
and one to,
work. We
okay,
tried that is because for some reason, if you like, you can't. I mean, there's things that you can do it with, but that also means that I have to interact with technology in some way, and that'll probably just break the whole streaming setup. But I can only like webcam to Discord or to OBS Studio.
Gotcha. Okay. No, just be nice. It'd be cool to see your face while we're talking.
Yeah,
but,
yeah,
you know.
no, that's yeah. I had this. There was something where that was actually kind of important, but we weren't able to get it. By we, I mean I wasn't able to get it going.
Gotcha.
Please delete this. See, I'm gonna delete
I
it.
just love how they made the Christian Trinity into like Imperial.
I
It
love
actually, the scariest thing is that it works. It works to help you understand it.
I'm sorry, but no.
that.
It's like Americans are trying to do the third impact.
I don't
Fair enough.
understand. This has confused me more, really. To be fair.
Yeah, I got it right away, but yeah.
Bert, I'm curious. Your
Yeah.
English skills. Did you solely like learn English by just watching a lot of English language media,
Yeah.
or did you really that
Yeah.
just behind that? Then school just helped you just
Like in
reaffirm it?
school, I was always a little bit ahead in school in English.
Yeah, I saw your gifted kid video.
Yeah. Yeah, so English was never a problem for me. I just watched I watched a lot of Ray William Johnson, and I just that's how I acquired my English. And then I watched a lot of fucking Ricky Gervais,
Yeah,
and that's
I
basically
asked,
who taught me English.
yeah. Apparently, there's like I keep forgetting that there's like a crap ton of like. There's a guy who's like from Romania or something, or like Latvia, one of those two countries. I know completely. I know completely like good few 100 kilometers away from each other. Talking about how he learned English by just like watching a bunch of American cartoons.
Yeah.
Which I always wonder this: how would he? I now I always think is like you think of Eastern Europe and shit as like fucking only farmland and stuff. When that's partially not true. There's definitely people who've had access to the internet.
Yeah,
I
well,
would.
yeah, I've been to Eastern Europe, and it's definitely not all farmland.
I know, just like you think of Romania, you think of some kid living on like a fucking farm and shit. Like,
I
you think of
don't.
like you think of, like
I think of vampires in
Yeah.
like Castlevania.
That would
I
be
think
weird.
of that or
Actually-
like Lot, that village Sacha Baron Cohen filmed his town in Kazakhstan in.
Yeah, but even they have internet. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, just what was I saying again?
It's
Okay,
it's Eastern Europe, not Germany. They have proper internet over there.
yeah,
It's
okay.
amazing.
What was it? It's just what I was saying was I've always wondered how the hell usually you'd think that like you watch when you'd watch imported media, it'd be localized and like dubbed. I'm curious if like beyond YouTube, like other than YouTube, like how the hell would you how would you get access to like untranslated and foreign media, like if not like, because I wouldn't imagine you'd get that on like broadcast TV. So
Well,
I'm curious how a lot of
so-
people who are
Okay, so basically in Germany, pretty much everything is dubbed because Germany is like has 82 million people and a lot of money.
yeah
But I remember this is one of my earliest experience because growing up in Germany, I thought just everything was dubbed well everywhere, and then I went to Poland, and on the 16-hour bus ride to Poland, they were playing some American film, just like some action drama with crime bosses and whatever the fuck, and it was dubbed in Polish. Now you would in a dub, the way you imagine a dub is that they get people and they have them voice different characters, and then they put they act as though they were those characters. What happened here was it was just one guy who was doing all the characters, and at no point, even I don't understand Polish. I don't speak Polish, but it's very easy to tell that at no point did he insert anything even remotely resembling an emotion into his narration.
he was just talking monotone.
Yeah, there was the scene where like the guy has a gun and he's like you see like tears streaming down his face and he's shooting at a car as the car drives away. And he's like just screaming, right? And the whole thing, you could hear him screaming in English very quietly in the background as the gun fired. And he was
Those
yeah.
are the best.
he was basically like,
Those are the best.
I hate you. You are running away. Oh no. Oh no. That's just the whole fucking dub. And it was insane. But yeah, most countries, like even not even just Eastern Europe, but also like Northern Europe. Like, the reason Swedish people, hello there, the reason Swedish people and Norwegian people and Finnish people, Icelandic people, the reason they all speak such good English is because nothing gets dubbed for them. Are you eating chips?
Popcorn.
So is the vast majority. So Poland has shit dubbed. So in other countries.
No, Poland also. I mean, it depends. Like if it's like a big Marvel release, probably they have it dubbed. But a lot of countries, like Germany, is the exception. Like Germany, France, Spain get things dubbed, but the rest of Europe usually is kind of fucked because when you like Germany is big enough that you can show it in Germany, you can show it, and also you can show it in Switzerland. That's a lot of people. So you get a Spanish. Most things that are produced in the Americas are dubbed in Spanish anyway because it's like half of the world that speaks Spanish, and French is because it's France. They don't want to speak English.
That that reminds me of
So, like, do like
when
Sweden, like the Scandinavian countries, just like consume foreign media, the majority of it through subtitles, not
Yeah.
dubs?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
so how? So what was your situation like? Were you exposed to just to material that was not dubbed in English? Because presumably that's
I
how
was
you picked up.
exposed to gayness.
Yeah. No, for me it was all YouTube. It
Oh.
was I got into YouTube, and German YouTube is well, let's not talk about German YouTube.
Bruh.
I got into like American YouTube, specifically, Ray William Johnson, and yeah,
Doing your mom.
Mike, you're hot, Mike, uh, Heisky, you're hot micing me into the. I don't know what's happening over there. This is English technology.
Hey,
I
we
have a
invented
couple of
plumbing.
things.
I mean, they invented plumbing,
I need
didn't
to.
They
they?
invented plumbing? No, they
What-
didn't.
Well, didn't they like
When-
make? Didn't they make the refined, proper version of it or whatever?
They had like a
When,
sewer system.
Should have had a
When,
suicide system. Am I right?
Got him.
when I was growing up in Germany and I was very little, I remember because we got both living on base. We got both the Armed Forces Network, but we also got a bunch of German channels.
Yeah.
Because I didn't understand like how PAL and NTSC worked, and that we had dual standard TVs and shit like that. I just thought it was like, oh, magic TV box, I can watch everything. Anyway, I and then that became, and then like harsh reality crashed into me when I was older, and I realized I couldn't just put my Sega Genesis games into a Mega Drive. What
Yeah.
bullshit is this?
Yeah.
But anyway, so when I was very, very little, I remember this distinctly. I remember watching a bunch of like Studio Ghibli and movie and like anime like that in German.
Yeah, they'd usually be dubbed.
And yeah, and they were dubbed. And because of that, and because the art style was so different, and I had nobody to explain it to me what these movies were, I just assumed that anime was German cartoons. And I was
Hell
like
yeah,
that
dude.
Wrong axis power there.
I was like that for several years, where I thought anime was his German cartoons, because the first time I ever watched them was on German TV, and they were so different from American cartoons.
Here's a
Now
really
I'm wanting
weird
to see
thing.
now. I'm wanting to see now hentai that's dubbed in German, and then in reverse German porn that's dubbed in Japanese.
Yes.
The anime is actually very good at like doing dubs, because I remember as a kid watching like Doraemon, and it was dubbed not in Spanish but in Catalonian. Like,
That's like
Oh,
that,
wow.
that's very
Basic.
niche
That's very
little-
specific.
Isn't it
Yeah,
isn't that like province in Spain that wants to not be a separate country, but
I
the
mean,
government's
to
being
be fair, that's pretty
authoritarian?
much
Hold
all
on.
of them. But
Hold
yeah,
on. Real quick, can I just interrupt you?
Yeah.
Something really important I've got to point out to you all.
yeah.
Yes.
At this particular point in history, Sweden looks like a cock and balls. That's all.
Let me see.
It does. It does.
Is there any time
Yeah,
in which Sweden doesn't look like a cock and
Yeah.
balls?
Yeah, that's fair.
Scandinavia just looks like a fucking like continent that is like two like split tongue dicks,
Yeah, I'll be honest.
and Finland
a-
is the balls.
This is
What
the
the hell
dick
is
hole
Novgorod?
very big.
What region of Europe is fucking Novgorod? What the fuck is that?
Like
That's
one of the
that's like
old-
pre-Russia.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's one of the old. That's one of the old Russias.
Oh.
yeah.
Finland conquered by Russia. All is right with the world.
It's like all this.
That's the thing. That's the thing. That was something that was surprising to me, is that there's multiple Russias.
Yeah, Russia's
Yeah.
fucking gigantic.
It's
Yeah,
big.
Yeah.
Russia is kind of like just like a big like grouping of colonized people at that point. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
pretty
I
at
mean,
a
like the-
diverse place.
The people, the
Like
different
that's
Russias in Europe just colonized each other for a while until eventually the Muscovites won and went, you know what? Let's colonize all the people with the slanty eyes beyond the
let's
mountains.
let's just keep heading east.
Yeah.
And they found then they
Wow,
found
there's nothing here but people with squinty eyes. Let's conquer them.
then they found elk and yogurt drink, and they're like, hell yeah, bro, hell yeah, brother.
It's just
The column.
It's really
No,
surprising
I
how
was
far
with
east.
you.
Well, it's really surprising how far east they went. It's like everybody assumed they got to Alaska and just sort of stopped. It's like, no, they went all the way down. They had colonies in California.
Yeah, there was a lot
And
of
and
like Russian shit going on.
Back
yeah,
up.
and they
Hold
had
on. Is this all
they had a
history or is this
colony
real?
no, this is real. Like look up Fort Ross. It was their biggest colony. It's just north of San Francisco. It's I think it was called Fort Roos, but after
Fort Ross,
America came,
Russian. Fort
yeah,
Ross,
Fort
Russian.
Ross.
Originally, Fortress Ross is a Russian establishment on the west coast. What the fuck?
Yeah.
How? When did
Yeah.
that get there? When did they get there?
Wait until you find out at this point there's only circumstantial evidence for this, but theories that Chinese trade ships were crossing the Pacific Ocean in the 14th century.
This is built in 1812.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Did they come all? Oh, 1812. So they came all the way like during like the Industrial Revolution from like fucking Siberia and
Yeah.
like crossed.
This is
through
this
the
is
they
like
came
ancient
down.
Russians.
Wait, does
Yeah,
that mean
this-
Russian?
no, they-
Wait, does that mean Russians were trading with native peoples?
Yeah.
That's
That was the primary reason they had Alaska. They actually had Alaska for a couple hundred years. I think they colonized it in the 1700s.
Yeah, I
And
think
Wait, so
it was fur trading.
isn't there one tiny island where the USA has a land border with Russia? Because it's split in
It's
the middle.
yeah, it's Diomede as it's the Diomede Islands, and Big Diomede is Russian,
Oh, okay.
and Little Diomede is American. And no joke, hang on, I'll look for a picture of it. There is a town on Little Diomede Island. It's the most isolated. It's the most isolated town in the United States.
Yeah.
It's got 150 people, and they have like a kindergarten through 12th grade school. And like 30, like of the 150 people, 30 of them are children.
Yeah, that seems pretty
And-
reasonable.
out of curiosity,
And
how long would a
oh,
there's a proper bridge between Alaska and Russia, and you could like drive up to like Alaska all the way down to like you could like how long would it take to drive from there to northern Japan, from like California to northern Japan?
if there was a land bridge,
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
let's do the
yeah.
math, innit?
So this
I
is
have
the-
Google Earth.
this is the town,
Uh,
and
let's start in like Northern California. Let's start in Eureka, right?
Eureka's a good
Yeah.
is a good northern town. Yeah.
Ruler Path. Then we go up to Fort Dick. Fucking Fort Dick.
So the biggest, so
Let's go all the way up this, and then let's go. Do we assume the land bridge is down the Aleut Islands or over the Bering Strait?
It'd be easier just to go over the Bering Strait.
Yeah. Let's do Bering Strait, and then we go over here down Kamchatka. Because then here it's actually let's just assume that they make the long instead of going via Sakhalin over the fucking these weird islands between Kamchatka and Hokkaido. And then you arrive in Hokkaido. That's 8,271 kilometers.
What's that?
221
What's that in American?
kilometers. Assume you're traveling. I can tell you it's 5,137 miles.
All right.
Let's say you're traveling at like 100 kilometers per hour, 8 hours a day. This is a too complex mathematical operation for my brain. Let's just divide it by 100 for real quick. So that's if you just drove that straight with an average of 100 kilometers per hour, you'd be there in 82 days by car.
Right.
But obviously you're only going to drive like a limited amount of time, unless you take shifts. So
That's
yeah,
fair.
around 80 days maybe.
Yep. All right.
I posted pictures of. It's actually called the City of Diomede.
Yeah.
And this is like the remote. This is the most remote American city.
So I have a dark mode thing for Google Maps, and fuck it, it makes Greenland look like a fucking black, Oh wait, maybe it's because it's like night or something.
Oh yeah, no. Greenland looks weird in dark mode on many maps. I don't know. It's probably because of the
black.
ice sheet. Yeah, it's because of the ice sheet.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Actually, this town is like the reason. Like I hate how so many conservatives want to treat the U.S. Postal Service as like a corporation, and they
Yeah.
talk about like
Yeah.
the profits and shit. It's like this is a town with 150 people, and the U.S. Postal Service makes a point to deliver mail at least once a week, all the way out here.
Yeah, this is
Excuse me.
I had a conversation with a libertarian at one point, and he was going on about how that like a private investor created a postal service that was like better and quicker than the USPS, but then the government stepped in to ban what he was doing. It's like, yeah, no shit. Yes, sure, his postal service was quicker and cheaper, but also it was only operating on certain profitable routes, which is not where
Yeah.
most people in the US lived at the time, even.
Hey guys, I'm gonna bounce. Have a
Yeah.
good day, everybody.
Yeah, see you around, man.
See you around.
So yeah,
Anyway, you know what really fucking grinds my gears about conservatives talking about the USPS?
Yeah.
It weaned itself off government money in the 80s, and they still bitch about it getting financial aid from the government. And it's the fault of Republican congressmen or senators or whoever it is
Oh
in
yeah,
charge
it's
of
this.
particular branch of shit who like prohibit them from selling merchandise and doing postal banking.
And also,
Which
this
is
is because, yeah, they're
fucking
profitable, but they recently introduced a law that, like, what was it specifically that they had to, like, pay into an account that has, like, 500% of what literally every single person who works for the USPS is going to ever need for retirement, like way in advance, and that like really drove down, like they're deep in the red now in terms of the profits that they're making. And now Republicans are going, oh, see, the USPS is he's costing us money. Because they introduced this completely unnecessary law.
Yeah, and besides the point, it's like, why are you talking about profits? The USPS it's meant to do shit like this, like
Yeah.
to go out in the butt fucking nowhere, so that way Americans who live in the butt fucking nowhere can exercise their rights. That's the purpose of the postal service.
Literally, it's neoliberalism going. Everything needs to be a corporation that throws up a profit. This is
Yeah.
what ruined the Deutsche Bahn. This is literally what ruined the trains in Germany.
It's what ruined the fucking trains in the UK too. It's what
Yeah,
ruined
yeah.
the
Oh
hype.
yeah. The UK did it first. They were pioneers in
No,
one
actually,
thing, and it's
so
ruining
it's
the railroads.
being
we wouldn't have any fucking strikes of train drivers right now if they hadn't privatized it, because then all the train drivers would be government employees, and government employees in Germany are not allowed to strike.
That's actually how I learned that the Deutsche Bahn was privatized.
That's really
when
fucked up.
It's really not, because if you're a government employee in Germany, you have one at life. It is literally the best fucking deal. They get paid really
evening.
well. Hello,
Hello.
there. They get paid really well. They just everything in terms of benefits they get. And also, like, retirement. They're not even in the same retirement system. They have their own retirement system where they make way more money. And you also can't get fired. Like, if you... unless you're doing, like, something that's seriously fucked up, like breach, like fucking sell state secrets or, like, rape someone on the job, you cannot get fired. It's really... being a fucking government employee in Germany is a cushy-ass deal.
I'm sorry, this happens in Germany? What?
Yeah.
No, well,
So that's why they're not allowed to strike.
Oh Jesus!
They still
This
have
sounds-
That's-
unions, but they're not allowed to strike.
so wait, is there like a whole thing like where? Because I remember when like reading stories about like ancient Chinese dynasties, it was like the best job you could have in ancient China was to be a civil servant, and it was like highly competitive. It's like you had to study for years. Is that sort of like what it is in Germany? It's like you have to go to the best schools and
No.
stuff.
No, it's
Oh,
also
you just-
there isn't so some of the train drivers are they're not everyone who works for the government has this. It's basically you have to be a, and I'm not sure there's like an equivalent term for it. It's Verbeamtung. You have to be like an official, and about 10% of train drivers are officials. And like I think half of teachers are officials, and actually what unions will tend to do, like the train drivers union, for instance, or the teachers union, when they strike, what they demand is for more teachers to become officials, so they have like more job security and all that. But the government has been, because it's neoliberal bullshit, they've been trying to get rid of some of the benefits that officials get, and that has struck people with a bit of a. There's a lot of like places where, for instance, like I think all police officers are considered officials, except the one the ticket cops, which are a different institution in Germany. Although probably there's some also. It's like a lot of state institutions have like a half deal, where some people are employees and other people are like government officials, and they, even though they have the same job, they tend to make a lot more money and have a lot more security. But also they straight up are not allowed to strike.
Jesus, that sounds bad.
Mm.
Speaking of, so this is kind of related to what you were saying, Berger,
Yeah.
about the whole kind of rape thing. So it's related to companies, right? So I'm trying to not necessarily boycott companies, but just saying like, look, I'm not buying any more of your fucking products.
I'm back.
Oh,
Had to take dogs to the bathroom.
Oh damn! You didn't hear the whole conversation about how civil servants aren't allowed to strike in Germany. That is very sad that you missed that.
Oh, I think that's a thing in America too.
But yeah, sorry, Posh, you were talking.
So the thing is, boycotting or stop buying products from companies that do shitty things, especially the management / CEO side of the company doing shitty things, is like starting to become a thing. It's always been a thing, but it's starting to become a thing. My question is, when does the argument, but you stop supporting good people like the developers or the employees of that company, start becoming irrelevant or just downright fucking annoying? Because I've started to hear it more and more from like people who generally tend to say like, these companies do a lot of immoral things or just financially questionable things. so we should boycott them. But then when there's some accusations of like sexual assault, then they turn around and say, "Oh, but you can't stop supporting them because then you stop supporting the developers or the employees that actually need
Who
the
the
money."
fuck's saying that?
Oh, there's
I
people
no,
who
like-
say
don't know,
that.
but I've started hearing it. I've started hearing it.
Developers
no.
aren't like tied to the hip to corporations. Like you can be a developer and work somewhere else.
Yeah,
I mean, but that's
like-
the
like-
propaganda
the
that's
pro-
put out.
Yeah, like when the whole thing came out with Blizzard this year, and I should have done it last year with the whole Hong Kong shit. But yeah, when it happened this year, it was like I immediately just went and put in a request to close my account, my
Yeah,
Bell.net
get back to Hong Kong
account.
shit.
I
Yeah, same.
personally,
Yeah,
I
so
just
I
don't.
closed it.
I personally don't really boycott things all that much.
That's fair enough. It's not super effective to do it. It's just
Yeah.
more of a
It's-
like,
I mean, I
it's
haven't.
more on the
I've been
principle. It's
boycotting
the-
Blizzard
it's
more on
principle.
like their business practices for a longer time by just not feeling like it's worth my money. I haven't
Yeah.
like made the decision. Oh, I'm gonna. Can you move the? Can you like put your popcorn in like a bowl or something because it's very loud.
Yeah,
Um,
Cody, this is making me.
But
want
but
to
yeah, it
kick you
was more of a
back.
principle thing. It
That's
wasn't
like-
really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't going to be effective. You know, it wasn't going to send a direct message. It was just the principle of like, I don't want to have any ties to this shithole of
Yeah.
corporation.
I mean, that's fully understandable. Like, I think just personally don't see the point of boycotts. But if it's like it's like something that is within your ethics and that it makes you feel, like you are more aligned with your own personal ethics, do it. Like it's your life. It's
I
your
tend not to
money.
like
But
boycotts
I-
very often because every time I find a company that did something shitty, there's probably about 1,000 other companies that I probably purchased from unknowingly or knowingly that are also shitty. Like, yes, Blizzard doing that is pretty shitty. I don't play Blizzard games anymore, but like, it's not quite necessarily fucking starving African children or like.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I still buy Nestle products, even though it's.
Unfortunately,
it's kinda hard to-
Or
you cannot.
Coca-Cola hiring death squads in Colombia to assassinate union leaders. Like, it's not quite
Jesus
that level of
fucking
it. So, like, and I'm drinking Coca-Cola products right now, which
Yeah.
makes me sad, but, whatever.
Yeah. Again, the problem is just I'm starting to hear people like say this because I watched a channel recently, and this is to do with the whole Warhammer Games Workshop thing, right? And literally one of the videos, he was talking about how you should should decrease the amount of Warhammer stuff you buy. But then in the next video, it's like people were starting to say, hey, let's boycott Warhammer Plus, right? Which seems to be somewhat effective from what I'm hearing online. But again, we don't have the official stats, so don't quote me on that. But at the same time, he says in the next video, don't boycott Warhammer Plus because good people have been working on it. I'm like,
Fuck him. No, he can go fuck. I don't know.
it's like,
Are you talking about Gamza?
It is.
no, it was
Oh,
Wargamer
okay.
Fritz.
It is in a
His
way-
name is Warhammer Gamer Fritz.
It is in a
Oh,
way the whole notion of like we're holding these workers hostage and we're going to make shit bad for them because the first thing that the corporations of course care about are not their employees but their shareholders. So if you do
Yeah.
boycott it shit is going to
Right.
get worse for their employees.
That is true. But
But
at the same-
I'm just like, go ahead. 3D prints or buy 3D prints of figures. Fucking. I'm talking about Games Workshop specifically, just because this happens.
Oh, yeah, pirate shit, do
over.
it. Break the law.
And
Be
this
gay,
happened-
be gay, do cybercrime, do it.
It happens over and over and over again with Games Workshop. It's like, you know what? Fuck it. Get PDFs of the source books. Get EPUBs of the lore books. Fucking get a 3D printer or find somebody who has a 3D printer, and just. I mean, hell, get a 3D printer because most likely the army you want to build, you can't afford it or they don't fucking have it.
Excuse me. Do any of you on a lighter note? Do any of you know anything about EU4? Because I fucked something up real bad.
Hanski, you are a bit quiet. I can
Um,
understand what you're saying, but you are a bit quiet. So if you can turn yourself up on your end, because you're already at 200% on mine.
So
Yeah.
I know that it takes place in Europe and therefore is gay.
I know
It's also about colonialism, which is also even more gay.
I was
Have
going
you
to
considered?
protest, but yes, everything that happens in Europe is gay.
Heinz,
Right.
you should play the New Order mod for Hearts of Iron 4. That's a very good mod.
You should put a rod of glass into your dick and then snap it because Kaiser Reich is better.
True.
I mean,
You're
Are-
literally
are you-
supporting Paradox
I
right
mean,
now, so you're cringe.
are you trying to make me have a good time? Because that's what it sounds like you're trying to make me do.
So, anyways, look, right, I did a thing, and now there's some dudes stuck in Denmark, which is very sad
Are
for
you
them.
playing as Sweden?
Yes.
Oh my god, even more cringe.
Imagine being Swedish.
It's not even
Imagine
Pride Month,
playing
though.
as Sweden. Now imagine simping for Sweden in a strategy game. Cringe.
I think there's a difference between playing as them and simping for them.
The only
No, but
acceptable nation to
playing.
play in any strategy game is Indonesia.
I mean,
What about the Iroquois in Civilization?
Yeah,
No, you
I
play-
always
no,
like to
no,
play
my
Indonesia because they're literally the worst one, but they have
Are
the
they?
coolest leader and the
That's true.
best music.
I always play as Germany because that way I get an army really fucking quick.
Nah,
Because
dude,
I just
Nah,
go out.
Burger.
I just go out and like get barbarians.
Yeah.
Nah, Burger. Sumeria's best faction because their leader is literally just a big, muscly Chad who probably didn't even exist.
Wait,
That's fair.
Sumeria in Civ 5?
Oh no, that's in Civ 6.
Sumeria.
I was always a fan of the
young,
frickin'
you young
Zulus.
children, I don't play Civilization 6.
I've played Civ 5, Boomer.
You
I like how we're the same age and we're calling
You
each other children and
peasants,
Boomer.
you peasants play Civilization, do you?
I
I like Civ
mean,
6 because it doesn't penalize you for building big.
Yeah. I was always a fan of the Japanese and the Zulus. Those guys are pretty
I was
fun.
always
I'm-
into fucking
Japan in Civ 5 is OP.
I tend to simp a bit for like the underdog factions, to be honest. Every time it's like whenever there's like this big one where you're building an empire for like a really famous.
I mean, look at this motherfucker, okay?
He's
This is a
quite the
thick
unit,
boy.
let's be honest.
This
He is an
thick
absolute
boy.
unit.
Absolutely.
Damn,
Agree-
boy, he's thick!
Yeah, yeah.
No, it's
yeah.
damn boy, damn boy, damn
That's the
boy,
thing,
you
that's the-
thick boy. That's a thick ass boy.
I
Damn.
was about to say Polynesian is like no. Polynesians originally came from Taiwan.
I
So-
do
The Polynesian
love.
leader is also a Chad, if I remember correctly.
I do love that
Yeah.
his name is literally Kamehameha.
No, no. Kamehameha was the name of a Hawaiian king
Yeah,
or tribal leader. Or,
yeah. But in okay,
whatever
so
it
Yeah,
in
it was,
Civ,
he was like the guy who, when the British came and accidentally conquered the island, like some random ass guy with some boats who wasn't supposed to be there, and then
It
the
was,
authorities came
It was
and-
Kamehameha is who you're thinking of.
Yeah, and
yeah,
the British
exactly. In
authorities came along
Civ,
and
he's
said,
the
"Yo,
leader of
you
Polynesia,
weren't supposed
so
to be
he's
there."
the leader of Polynesia. Okay.
Well, Polynesia is just the islands between like Hawaii and like Asia.
It's
Like,
all
just,
of the. He was the king of
Yeah.
all of them because he was the
King
leader
Kamehameha
of
was
Civ.
yeah.
Yeah, and his fucking name is Kamehameha. I mean, what the fuck?
It's Kamehameha, but yeah.
No,
Hey, so
it's
Yeah, it's
This-
Kamehameha.
This is kind of off topic regarding like old video games, but any of you guys ever read the story?
yeah,
or heard
exactly
of-
him. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, do go on.
Oh no! I love this dude. This dude's fucking awesome. But anyway, have you guys ever heard of Magna Santi from SimCity 3000?
No.
no.
Basically, what was this guy? the totalitarian Buddhist who beat SimCity. That's the name of the article, and there's a video in there that he made that he put up. That's honestly kind of fucking terrifying. He basically just designed the perfect city in SimCity 3000, and the way he made it took him 50,000 in-game years to do it. And he basically had to. He removed all roads, so that and all there are subways, and people just literally they go from their residence to work, back home, and they only live to be like 50 years old. Their education is just in the dumpster, and it's just like I think the cities have like 9 to 10 million people.
Jesus.
Yeah, and it's just like he technically beat the game. He made the most efficient city possible, and it's because everybody's too dumb and too sick to do anything.
This is basically
This sounds-
for hundreds of years Buddhist monks have used their powers of autism to like perfect to be as fitter than me at 26 at like 85. And now they use their powers to beat SimCity by creating the absolute dystopian hell state.
Yeah, if you want to, like after the stream, watch the video. It's on. It's like looking into the mind of a complete madman.
This kind of reminds me of a scenario
The
I've heard
so-called
about,
religion of peace, Buddhism.
But no, there was a thread or and I remember about someone playing Civilization 2 for longer than was intended.
Oh,
like
yes,
in-game years, longer than intended.
The
That one.
eternal
Free
the
Nations.
Eternal War, yeah.
Yeah, Eternal War.
Free Nations, Vikings, France, I think, and the USA.
It was the United States, the Celts, and
Oh yeah,
the Vikings.
the Vikings for sure.
Yeah, and,
And holy shit, that was a ride.
he was playing as the Celts, and the Americans and the Vikings were theocracies, and he was the communist states. He had to switch over the communism because as a democracy he kept losing the war because the Senate and the Parliament would keep intervening and not let him do what he needed to do. But I love because he posted it on the Civ 2 subreddit, and he uploaded the save file, and that just became a challenge to everybody of how fast can you fix everything.
There was a ton of fiction written about it too. Honestly, Civ has produced a lot of very interesting stuff.
Yeah.
In terms of fan works.
I've actually done not like full like fanfics or stuff, but I've done like world building in my mind, because I sometimes I'll have maps where I play where like there'll be this region, like this plateau within like a mountain range.
Oh yeah, I do this all. This is the main reason why I play fucking video games.
Yeah, and it's like I remember the biggest one was there was this mountain range with a plateau in the middle, and early on someone built a city on the plateau. But like it was also an area where like 4 nations, including my own, our borders met up in this mountain range, and because of that, like the whole area was like Afghanistan. It was just constant warfare. It was like 2 countries would go to war, and the city that was built like changed hands like 20 times over the course of the game, just because everybody wanted this plateau, and it wasn't even like anything special. It was just like that was like there was like a road going through there, and that's all that was there. But it was it was just so cool just to imagine like
But like, because you see all this like zoomed out, extrapolated shit of, oh, this is the big story of the great leaders of the general. But what's life like there? You know, what are the personal stories of the guy who works at the fucking shop?
yeah, it's like, oh, this gunshot was from when the Americans invaded. This one's from when the Zulu invaded. Yeah, so my father, he was living under the Zulus, and now I'm living under the Americans. Like, it's just imagining like the stories those people in that city could tell. Yeah,
Yeah,
It's just huge fun,
So,
honestly.
that's the best thing I find for games that have a lot of abstraction. It's just it fill in so much blank. You can fill in so much blank
For like
by
4X
just
games like
abstracting.
Stellaris, oh
Yes.
my god. I mean, no, isn't
Yeah,
Stellaris
like
great?
especially 4X games that don't have pop-ups about how the battle happened, where you can just imagine like how the battle is going on,
Yeah,
where it's just a precarious last stand, a desperate last stand as your men just slowly get whittled down.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like
That's why like I don't know if you guys ever heard the channel the Templin Institute, but
Oh yeah.
they do Stellaris Let's Plays, and then they make like a 20 video like world building and lore series about their gameplay. It's like the first one was like 26 episodes, and like the second one I think they're still working on it, and it's just the amount of world building they put into and the amount of lore building they put into Stellaris is just fucking amazing. It's great. It's a great listen.
it reminds me of another channel I watch on a regular basis. Hang on, where is it? Kings and Generals. The guy who does Kings and Generals. Who is he?
That's what really turned me off from Civ 6 is that I felt like Civ 6 was like really, really holding my hand, and it wasn't letting me. It really felt like it didn't want me to just go out and do whatever the hell I wanted.
I don't even know why, because I have Civ 6 and I played it for like a couple hours, and it just didn't grip me like Civ 5 did, because Civ 5 is, I think, still my most played game on Steam, and I love it so much. I haven't played it in years, but
I think
one thing that Civ 5 has over Civ 6 is it's a lot easier to build like a really large army in Civ 5 than is in Civ 6. Civ 6, the units are a little bit like smaller.
I've always
like,
been
battles
someone
feel a
who
bit more
builds
grand.
tall instead of wide, so I've never had a big army.
That is a big reason why you wouldn't like Civ 6 then, because Civ 6 like doesn't let you build tall really. Like you can, but it's disincentivized because there's no like empire penalties like there were in Civ 5.
Oh well, that's.
I think another big thing was like the workers, how you can only use them 3 times in Civ 6. That really kind of hindered me because I love just getting my first worker and then just crafting my land in the way I want it to.
But like at the same time, it's like you make one worker and then you just have him like cultivate all of your land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of prefer them using it as like an expendable resource.
They don't have unions.
Yeah, they don't have rights.
It's just the same slaves since antiquity are like just breeding and like creating like the entire one century they're in like America, the next century they're in Japan, like trying to like fucking build like some rice fields.
Eugenics, me-genics, everybody genics.
Yeah, one of my favorite mods for Civ 5 was a religion mod where you could put in where like one of the religions you can craft is an eldritch cult.
Hell yeah!
And it like it gave you like standard like it could give you like just the standard things, but I just loved having like the German Empire it is led by the Grand Cultist under the watchful eye of like Yog Sothoth.
Yeah.
And it didn't add anything supernatural to it. It's just like Yeah, we're into this.
I
we're
would have
into
liked
this
some
fucked up
Supernatural
shit.
Civ though. Did you see this new game that's out called Humankind?
Humankind.
Humankind
Humankind.
from
I
Sega.
have it on
Amplitude
it's on
Studios.
it's on
Honestly, from the reviews I've
Yeah.
seen, especially from a few of the strategy reviews, the guys who mostly play strategy who review strategy games, it got a nice concept, but the execution ain't that great. It's not like it's downright terrible, but it's just like, so you can switch cultures, right?
Yeah, that's the
But it's like
thing
you
that I
can
wanted
switch.
to mention.
You can switch. The problem is you can switch. So say you start off in the Bronze Age as Mycenae, right?
Yeah.
As the ancient Greeks. You can then switch over to be Mayans.
Yeah.
Okay, in the later era, which makes there is a kind of disconnect.
That really pissed me off. Because
it's not like a turnkey switch. There's like a whole lore. It's like a crafted path towards that.
Yeah, I get that, but at the same time, it's like, so you were Celts before, but you somehow became the Maori? I'm like,
yeah, that
am I the only
that's something
one
that
confused
it really
here?
put me off because I liked imagining the aesthetic of like some civilization throughout the ages. And then also like the NPC factions would do the same thing. That really,
Yeah.
for me, this wasn't a game where I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy it like after a while, after they
Well,
put in some patches and some expansions. But this kind of actually puts me way the fuck off.
The problem I think. No, sorry, go on.
Yeah.
Well, I was about to say, I think what I think the problem is that this is made by Amplitude, and the thing about Amplitude is that they're really, because they did Endless Space and like Endless Legend.
Yeah.
They're really good at taking like the core gameplay of a 4X strategy game and then just making their own story and their own game, and you're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. Because that's the Humankind plays a lot like Endless Space, where it's like, yes, you are doing the 4X strategy game, you are running the civilization, but there's a storyline it's forcing you down.
I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't even like what they do with the heroes in these in like Endless Space and shit. I really, honestly, I think it's Endless Legend, the game where they have like really interesting fantasy races and all that shit. But
they're
just
incredible.
the thing with it's thousands of years, but somehow it's the same guy that's the hero. And you have heroes from like completely different species, just kind of, it's like, yeah, but I prefer it the way that it happened in Stellaris, where if you give aliens rights in your empire, you will eventually get leaders from those aliens. But also they fucking die eventually. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The thing I think that would kind of fix it is if you put an option where, so you have civilizations related to one another in sort of like a tree. So say you have Mycenaeans, which are related to, say, Persians and Greeks. Not a great comparison, but let's roll with it.
Yeah.
So if you tick that option, that means if you choose Mycenaeans in the Bronze Age, that means your only options are going to be everyone related to Mycenaeans in close.
Lead to some balancing issues, probably.
That's going to lead to some balancing issues for sure, but if they balance it right, it could be good. Like, again, I haven't played it, so I don't know. Again, the balance of it, I've just looked at the routes and maybe I might get it come around, but so far, not really. Because the combat looks great.
It needs a lot more development, in my opinion, for me to like invest money into it.
Well, it's honestly, I don't know if you're. I just want to mention really quick. It is on Xbox Game Pass, so if you have that, you could play. You could try it out there.
You can play this on Xbox?
No, well, Xbox Game Pass works on both Xbox and Windows.
Yeah, they've integrated. Windows has integrated a lot of its
great
gaming
service.
platform into like its like online store thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have literally
Yeah.
only bought one game on Xbox Store,
No
and
further
that was
questions.
Outer Worlds because it didn't come out on Steam until a year after its release date.
Yeah.
Because fuck.
Oh,
Can
I
I just
still-
say
I
fuck
still-
Epic Game Store?
I still haven't played that Outer
Oh,
Worlds.
Polish. Well, what were you gonna say?
Outer Worlds is still $60
Bruh.
Yeah, it's
I'd say it's
You
worth
know-
it. I mean, it's a pretty good RPG. I haven't done that many playthroughs of it though, so I mean, like,
Yeah,
I
I'm not
wouldn't-
gonna
it's not like
gonna
Vegas,
buy
right?
it if it's $60. Yeah.
Parvati's like my favorite character, and is that her name right? Parvati, or
Like
am I
it
getting
looks
that wrong?
interesting, but I'm currently like I'm replaying for Divinity 2.
I still have not beaten either Divinity game. I just never get around to finishing them.
I recently I beat Celasta Crown of the Magister, and the ending is so unbelievably unsatisfying that it didn't ruin the whole game for me because I think it was a lot of fun. But like holy shit, maybe go to writing school, motherfucker. It's literally basically at the end there's a big revelation by like someone is someone else actually. It's like, well, I don't have time to explain why I can't help you though. And then she literally stops time. So you can have a long rest and level up your characters. It's a D&D 5e game, but there's a level cap at level 10. And then also basically the boss fight is fucking you fight this enemy type that you've been fighting all along, except there's one boss who is a bit more powerful, and also 2 dragons show up to help you, and they do everything essentially. And then the actual final boss fight is when you just have to defeat an indeterminate amount. You have to survive an indeterminate amount of rounds against just an enemy type that you've been fighting for the whole game. And then like other people are the ones who do all the actual work. It's unbelievably unsatisfying.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, but the game itself is actually kind of fun. I like it. I enjoyed it more than Baldur's Gate 3, which I kind of stopped playing after 2 hours.
I have not played Baldur's Gate 3. I was gonna play it, but I haven't beaten Baldur's Gate 2 yet. So I have to beat Baldur's Gate 2 first, and then I'll play Baldur's Gate 3.
Isn't Baldur's Gate the Black Isle thing that was built out of the engine for their Fallout 3?
Hey, Burger, it's back.
Sounds fucking cool. I will look
It
into
was
this.
made by Black Isle, if I remember correctly. It is a very good game. The first one is. I don't know what the second one is.
The problem is I'm not very good with shit graphics. I've been starting to play Wasteland 2. I've been actually getting into it. But it's really strange because I have like a tech character and she's not ideal for tech, and there's a lot of stuff where I'm like, okay, well, can I have some feedback for what actually happened just now? Or maybe if I free this prisoner, people are gonna be pissed off, right? People are gonna get mad at me, but they're already mad at me. But also, I killed a whole bandit camp for them, and they apparently they don't like me enough still. But there's no way to make them improve the way that they. This guy's house is on fire, and I have no idea what to do to make it stop. And then later he's angry at me. Like, what the fuck? But it is kind of fun. I like the whole combat aspect of it definitely is. But it's the same. It has for me the same problem that literally every single post-apocalyptic game has, and it's just the color palette. It's the same reason why I don't really enjoy playing Fallout. It's this washed out, mushy green, gray, and brown color palette.
That's actually I don't know if it's a good game or not. I haven't played it, but the spin-off game from Far Cry 5, where it takes place in after the bombs go off in Far Cry 5.
Blood Dragon.
No, he's
No,
talking
no, no.
about the apocalypse one that happens after Far Cry 5.
Yeah, where Montana gets nuked. I
It's
really
the same
like
sort
that.
of idea as like Blood Dragon, just like a really wacky like spin-off of Far Cry.
But yeah, that was that was something that a lot of people noticed, was that in that game it's the post-apocalypse, but it's very colorful. It's like, nature. It was like it takes place a couple decades after the nukes go off. But like there's flowers everywhere. The trees are back.
That's usually what happens. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
This
like
looks really cool.
Yeah, it's like if you go to Chernobyl, if you go to Chernobyl, it's like there's
very
flowers
green.
and trees.
We went to Chernobyl in our last episode.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this looks
damn.
looks really cool. This
Yeah,
is why
it's
just the fucking nuclear weapons don't make colors disappear. That's not how it
Yeah.
works.
It's
My question is where they're getting all the paint.
Yeah, well, see, the thing is, to me, I don't really need to know so long as it's visually interesting.
Sure.
Like,
it's the same thing you get with like whenever it's like the Mexico filter.
yeah, this
The
is
Mexico filter, yeah.
Yeah.
this is why I want to
I had a
see.
friend who told me, there's that picture of Joe Rogan after he took the ivermectin and like had COVID, and he said it looks like he's got the Mexican filter on him.
Yeah. Which is oh, sorry, go ahead.
This is why I want to have a Fallout game in Hawaii or maybe like southern Florida, maybe even New Orleans, because it might be a bit more colorful.
Yeah, there's actually a
there'd be like
mod.
only like one like nuke that would probably hit Hawaii, which would be like its naval port.
Yeah.
On that, like you probably wouldn't want to nuke Hawaii.
Well, like there's a mod. I don't know if it's for New Vegas or for Fallout 4, where it takes place in Miami, and it's pretty. It's not as like drab as the other Fallout.
Yeah.
It's very like 1970s, like Miami, Florida, kind of like look.
It's been a couple years since I looked at it, so I think it's still in
Upcoming
development.
mod for Fallout 4. Yeah, I think I saw this at some point. It looks nice.
After the frontier though, I don't know how much I'm looking forward to any more like overhaul mods.
The Frontier that had a lot of it had like one big problem.
That's
writing. And also the guy who was a furry who put in his own
Deathclaw fuck scene.
Yeah, Deathclaw fuck scene, and also
dude, like a lot of that was really like cliche and poorly written.
Yeah, well,
which
he
is
also
really in stark contrast to like Fallout New Vegas, which is written magnificently.
You know, a really good fucking total conversion of a Bethesda game that is written very well and especially voice acted very well is
oh my god, you fucker.
For Skyrim, the Skyrim mod Enderall. I think that one's very high quality. Game.
I haven't beaten that game yet. I played a bit of it. It was good.
Actually, I just want to mention really quick about the Mexico filter. Is that Forza Horizon 5 was announced a couple weeks ago. It's gonna be out. It's gonna be out later in November. And this time, all the racing and all that takes place in Mexico. And when they announced that, everybody was like surprised. Like there was like legitimate surprise that they didn't put a Mexico filter on it.
To be fair,
just looks like a regular country.
To be fair, right? I like the color palette of the Mexico filter. I think it's a very nice color palette.
Well, it only works in like certain themes or certain settings.
Yeah, you can't put that filter on if you're like in the jungle of Yucatan. That really doesn't work.
That's God. Horizon 5 looks gorgeous. But like the Mexico filter works in like not in like a dystopian, sort of like a District 9 or a situation, or like a I can't remember the name of the movie. It was a really shitty movie, but they abused the hell out of it. But like,
I remember District 9. That was a good movie. I like that movie.
The Mexico filter really only works in like when you want to like drive home
Things are hot and poor there. That's what you're trying to write home in the Mexico.
Yeah. Like Judge Dredd, District 9, or like Tijuana.
The entire fucking state of Tijuana.
Well,
the Mexican American border.
Tijuana.
Because that's really the only place where like the Mexico filter fits is like the border.
It's really the only time we ever see Mexico in American movies is at the border.
Okay, I'll admit.
It's very rare you find like a fucking Mexican, like a movie where it's like it takes place in Mexico and you see a jungle.
Yeah. Because it's like I've been down to like Calexico or to to the Tijuana San Diego border, and it just feels like it's like, man, it really does feel like that kind of movie.
It'd be like if you like only shot American, like if you had like American films, like America and like other like films, but they only filmed West Virginia. It's like strange.
I did, it's, let's be honest, most American films are either in LA or New York.
Or New York, yeah.
Or like when you have like a German film and it's all in Bavaria and they're all eating pretzels.
This is something that I when I watched the Tim Burton version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I literally laughed out loud when they show fucking. Let me find there's probably a fucking.
I love when they interview the families going to the factory and they get to the German family and they're all just like, the dad just eats the microphone.
Yeah. It's fucking.
It's just like this. They're supposed to represent.
This family's from Dusseldorf, and it's just this picture, which is like just any Bavarian fucking mountain town.
Yeah,
Dusseldorf sits on a plane, on like a.
I was about to say, yeah, Dusseldorf is like north.
Yeah, I mean it's West Germany. It's pretty much the capital of West Germany, and this is what Düsseldorf really looks like. And they're like Bavarian. They wear lederhosen and shit. That's not even nearly the correct region.
Yeah,
that's the picture, Bert. What are you talking about?
Like,
it's just different seasons.
Meanwhile, Bavaria is like the Texas of Germany.
It definitely is.
Jesus.
Why do they have a Seattle needle in fucking Dusseldorf?
Oh, that's the TV tower.
That's
Pretty much every German city has a television tower. And the funny thing about the one in Dusseldorf is that it has like a clock on it. But it's a very strange. You can only see it at night because it's like lamps that go up the side of the tower. And it has been explained to me many times. And I still don't understand how people are actually able to read it. Düsseldorf also has, I think, the biggest expat community of Japanese people in Western Europe. And it's basically, if you're a weeaboo, you go to Düsseldorf regularly. Because every anime and Japanese culture thing that happens, it happens in Düsseldorf. And also the street grid is terrible. It's
that just sounds like an American city, honestly.
Yeah,
it's not like American cities are terrible because they just had they just made bad choices. Düsseldorf grew.
They're just built different.
Well, American cities are great if you're in a car, but very, very bad if you're a pedestrian.
Yeah. I would agree with you, but I recently got back from Philadelphia, and holy fucking shit, those roads are horrible.
Oh yeah. Philadelphia is particularly terrible, especially
right after I left. The highway got flooded and made a fucking canal through the center of Philly.
Doesn't make sense.
Jesus,
people were swimming in that. I'm just like, how many diseases do you have now?
I want to know.
The normal amount for people who live in Philly.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, but they're yeah.
I don't think healthy people eat Philly cheesesteak. I'm not sure.
But I mean,
that doesn't sound quite healthy.
Health is
just steak and cheese. Get over it, liberals.
Hell yeah.
Fucking steak and cheese. Get over it.
Amen, brother.
Fucking libtard.
Dear liberals, I am going to consume a Philly cheesesteak.
I'm typing that.
I wished.
I fucking quote Burger.
We
don't just. Can I make a suggestion? I'll pay you 50 quid to fucking make a quote channel. Not an hamburger, not a bad take channel, a quote channel. Just a quote where we put in just random fucking quotes from the server.
But
Doesn't have to be me.
Put them in
just
there.
do it.
You can just put them in hamburger.
Yeah, the hamburger is more like the bad takes.
I really don't think that's the case, because sometimes takes of mine get posted there, so it can't be the bad takes channel now, can it?
If you do that,
Definitely I can.
Fucking flood it.
Definitely not.
Until it's unusable.
I can generalize the hamburger takes channel to make it so people can, but if there's a desire for a quotes channel, I think a lot of people already use it that way. I mean, originally
that's what that was for.
It was just the Tenny Takes channel, and that I also vetoed, so...
oh, well. The Lord Tenny is gone, so...
Change it to
Long live the
hamburger
Tenny.
quotes and include takes in quotes. And then you reduce your contribution to $25 and we have a deal.
No, I'll still give you 50.
Okay, well that's very nice. Thank you. let me literally just change the name of a channel on my Discord server.
Hang on. Do you have a you do have a PayPal, right?
Yeah, it's in my video description.
Right. So it's gonna be under my legal name. So please don't please don't post that shit. Please don't.
Yeah, I will keep it secret, but also probably laugh.
Okay.
If this is already how you preempt me knowing your name. Yeah, that's good.
I'll give you $100 if you tell me his full legal name.
Don't you fucking dare.
Unfortunately, I will not be able to do that. I am bound by honor to not do that.
Aren't you also bound by German law?
Yes. But,
because Heinz, that's technically doxing. Come on.
For what it's worth, he does have a silly French name. I can't.
I made the
Fuck you. It's not
I
French.
would be disappointed.
It's fucking Algerian.
I would be disappointed if you didn't have a silly French name.
Look, you already know my first name.
I actually do not.
You know part of it, and I did say that. No, Chris was the fucking one to fucking say this. CryptoBit, you bastard. You were the one who just said
not on stream.
Not on stream, no, but you just said it out there, and I was like, "Oh, your name's that?" It's like,
oh, your name is I Suck Ladik.
Fuck. God damn it.
So his name is like Omar Lee Muhammad?
That would be so...
No, my family name is Algerian.
So fucking cool if your name was just like Omar Muhammad.
I can give you my middle name. I can't give you one of my middle names.
Because you're literally the most white-looking person I know. It would be amazing if your name was Omar Muhammad.
No, but I do have... So one of my middle names is literally, and no joke, Malik.
Shake?
Based.
Malik.
Big respect.
M-A-L-I-K.
Big respect, dude.
Inshallah, brother.
Yeah, inshallah.
I don't know. Because you're talking about him looking like the whitest motherfucker you know. It just reminded me of a documentary I watched about the American defectors in North Korea. And how one of them got hooked up with this East German girl back in the 80s, and they had a kid together. And the kid's like the whitest, is like compared to like all the other people in like North Korea, he's like the whitest thing you've ever seen. But he speaks like a North Korean, and it's so weird.
Wait, let me Google this.
Yeah, it's like
white kid in North Korea.
Yeah, like father was a defector, mother was an East German.
No, not Otto Warmbier. He's a victim.
No, yeah, he's a victim. Let's see.
East German.
I'd love it if it just pulled up Kim Jong-un.
So I'm
that would be based.
What I'm seeing is these two kids. But they're rather young.
Yeah. I don't think it's them.
Why do they
apparently-
have Yu-Gi-Oh cards? Why do they have giant freaking Yu-Gi-Oh cards?
They're not even good Yu-Gi-Oh cards. They're only 1 star.
I can't find.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm finding a lot of pictures of Otto Warmbier, but
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Oh wait, here's the kid. Here's the kid. I found him. Yeah, because his father defected, I think in the 1960s or 70s. Here's a
Yeah.
picture of him.
Jesus, 1960s. That's
Unbelievable, dude. And he's half Korean.
No, he's half German.
Okay.
His mother's East German.
Oh, okay. But what's the other half?
American.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so apparently the story of his father is that like after he defected, he was of course like interrogated and all that shit, and he basically became a movie star. He was one of the evil Americans in all of Kim Jong Un's like movies.
Yeah, I've heard about that guy.
Yeah, and then I guess the North Korean government like presented him with like a wife, and it was like an East German woman. He doesn't like go into specifics. I'm like, and it's just like, what the fuck?
Literally government mandated GF.
Yeah,
And becoming North
and
Korean.
and this is their kid.
Imagine the reason he defected is because he's into Asian women. It's like, oh god,
And they
damn,
give him away.
You're gonna,
What?
you're gonna give me a fucking Korean bitch to marry, and then they find the only white woman in all of the country to give. This is your wife.
I think the reason he like defected was like he just was always going AWOL, and like he went AWOL, and he's like he knew he was gonna get arrested, so like he just defected.
Yeah,
because he didn't want to get.
It's just living life. He's just grilling, dude. He doesn't have any political aspirations. He was just in the Korean War, and I was like, you know what? He'll just stay.
Oh wait, no wait, I was completely wrong. Their mother is Romanian, and she worked in the Romanian embassy in North Korea. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Dude.
Yeah, Mom Doina Bombia. That's so
expertly pronounced.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
I haven't heard a better pronunciation myself.
Yeah, apparently they're vehement. They're very loyal. Because it's 2 kids. They're both in the North Korean army. And they're both very, very loyal to North Korea, which is like.
It's pretty gay.
Yeah.
It's based.
Anyway, that's the stream. We have been.
Hang on.
Also, there's not going to be a stream next week because I will be hanging out with my grandmother in Spain.
Nice.
We stand.
Well, congrats to that.
Are you going to Mallorca or?
Yes, having a little
Oh, you lucky bastard.
vacation. I mean, I'm just gonna be in like rural Spain with 5 people. Like just like in a small house, and then my grandmother is in the neighboring house, and then
imagine going on a vacation.
There's nothing in the whole region, and I'm just gonna be smoking weed with my child. Actually, this says a pretty lit vacation, yeah, with my childhood friends. So yeah, thank you very much for watching.
See you around, Burger.
See you around,
Enjoy
guys.
your
See you around.